My father has been a mistreating deadbeat for my whole life, until he found a good paying job at some point when I was in uni. He decided to help me out with everything. He told my mom he'll give her $1,000, that is a huge amount in our currency, to put into my uni and other things I would need, but not tell me about it because he was unsure if someone that only recently became a legal adult could spend this amount in a smart way. Then died 3 days before meeting with my mom. I was heartbroken, because no matter how shitty, he was still a dad. The funeral passed, and I told my mom, you don't find it weird that they haven't said a single thing about the money, and she told me to give them time because this happened out of the blue, and they were probably too shocked to be able to get through everything. A month passes and my grandparents call my mom and they say they need to talk about this money arrangement they had with my father. My mom gets excited because we just started experiencing some monetary issues and that amount of money would be a huge relief. Then they offer us a deal. Because my father lived with his parents, half of their apartment belonged to me. If I agreed to discard that heritage through a notary, then I would receive the money. Honestly? The alarm bells were ringing all over, because it was money my father specifically put away for me. There wasn't any deal between him and my mother, he just wanted to do something for me once in a blue moon. But me and my mom, we are really trusting people. If someone says we will do this, we believe those people, because we don't lie, so why would they? Also, I didn't really want this part of the apartment, because it would never be fully mine, as my grandparents don't really like me and also have another son and granddaughter. So we agreed to the deal. Then I sign the documents and wait 6 months while my grandparents lead us on, until finally they get fed up with my mother asking about their part of the deal, and tell her straight up that they will not be giving us money, and as a topping on the cake they don't even believe I will actually be able to finish the university because we all know she's not the brightest in our family. LOL. Okay. COVID starts and everyone is working from home. I get a girlfriend and a therapist who are both shocked with how calmly me and my mother have accepted defeat. They tell me that I need to put them in their place, but I don't think they meant for me to do what I did. After I built myself a computer with some help from my father, he asked me to help build his own. It was a rare but a welcome bonding experience. After his death, the computer was just standing there, losing its value, and my grandparents were dead set on selling it for the same amount my father bought it for. No amount of it's been 4 years since he built it would work on them. So I got a little plan brewing in my brain. Since my grandparents knew I was working from home, I called them and asked to borrow my dad's PC, because mine is broken. Only for 2 weeks until I receive a paycheck and have enough money to repair mine. We had a lot of back and forth. They really didn't want to give it to me, but I had an argument with everything they said, so they agreed in the end. Just because I put too much trust in people who don't deserve it, I asked her once again if there's any way she could give me the money my father has left me. My grandmother says that we already been through this conversation, and besides, I don't need this money now, because I have a paying job. Okay, it was your last chance. I come over to get the PC, and my mom waits for me in her car. She meets my uncle, my father's brother, and they have a little chat, and he says, we had a computer at our house, and had to put it in the basement because the damn thing was taking too much space. Our kid does her homework on a tablet now. Before I leave, my granddad tries to have a word with my grandma to give me the PC and not ask for it back, because they do not need it. She shuts him down. I come down with the PC, we leave. I immediately block my granny's number. My mom is not so cold-hearted, so she decides to keep in contact. 2 weeks pass, and Grandma calls my mother to ask about the computer. My mom comes up with a lie, that basically there is no repairing to my computer, and if I give their computer back, I won't be able to work, to which my grandma responds with, "Oh, that's bad. I'm sure you will figure something out. But we need the computer for our granddaughter to do school projects on it," so my mom responds, "What about that computer that they have in the basement and don't use as it takes too much space? I'm sure you will figure something out." She blocks my grandmother after this, and tells me that if there's something I want to tell her, I can. My hands are completely untied, and my mom is done trying to find a compromise with those people. Before that, my mom was trying to make me rethink my decision of not giving the computer back. I call my grandmother, and she responded with a voice of an absolutely tortured soul. Oh, how could you do it? Wah. I told her that I learned to act like this from her. We have a huge argument and her points all based on shitting on my mother. How it was all her idea, that my mother made me hate them, that she never loved my dad. Shit was heartbreaking to hear considering my whole life my mom was the one who asked me not to cut the family out of my life, because they are a family even if a shitty one. So I tell her that my mom has been nothing but ever accepting to their shitty antics, and if not for her, the situation would look way worse. They failed to connect to me when my father was alive, they never reached out after his death, they were disregarding the fact that not only their son died, but it was also my father, it was my mom's ex-husband. We were all grieving. She can hear that I'm not sorry for her in any way, she treated my father horribly, so I was blaming her in some way too, but never put that in words. So she tries one last thing she could come up with. What about the other granddaughter? She need the computer for her school. If you hate me so much, at least think of her. She loves you, and I say the one who has both of her parents alive and well? The one who had a computer but it was so useless to her they put it in the basement? I think she and her living dad can figure it out just fine. There was a pause. And she goes, did your mother tell you to say this to me? Once again shifting the blame onto my mom. I heard it enough times in my life, so I just said okay, I will say something my mother has never told me to say to you. Go fuck yourself, and tell my granddad I don't hold any grudges at him, you are the only one at fault. I dropped the call, and block her number.